Hello. No one yet. Get this set up. There it is. Cool. Sweet. Everything is live now. Got the one, that's me. All right, cool. Time to get straight. Man. What a week. Hey, Chills, what's going on, man? Thank you, sir, for turning on notifications when I post on it. I appreciate that. But no, what's going on, man? How has your week been? What's new? Glad that you're here. Oh, that's what. Man. Chills. Ernest, good afternoon, sir. What's going on? Welcome. Glad that you're here. And then Chills, yeah, the RF01 Pro, it looks really cool. And then having the specs, the other side of the specs have different stats from Roger's career. I thought that was extremely nice, and it was just a nice touch for him. But yeah, it was pretty interesting to see. I didn't hit with it. I don't believe I hit with it, or I might have for a little bit. I may just not remember, but it was nice. It's just the normal RF01 Pro, and then but the extra paint job, so not bad. If it's about tennis, I'm always there. Tennis is always living in my mind. Yeah, I get that. I get that, Chills. But no, what's been going on, Chills? Ernest, what have you guys been up to since the last stream? What's been going on, boys? So the new version of the Wilson Ultra V5 is coming July. Yes. The new version of the Wilson Ultra is coming later this year. I am trying my hardest. Well, I don't know about my hardest, but I'm trying to get one of them before they launch so that way I can have it and review it, or at least get my thoughts down on it before they allow anything to be said about it. And then once it officially launches, then when I'm allowed to release something on the Racquet, I'll be like, okay, now I can talk about this. Because if you haven't seen the Ultra, it's a more interesting color. You may notice a similarity to other rackets that are out now, but I haven't got to play with it yet, so I can't say exactly how different it is in terms of playability wise. But I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. Don't. There we go. Feels really good. Just too hot. 100 degrees play, but always feel super exhausted because of it. Yeah, Chills, that's kind of how I was feeling on Saturday. One of the main reasons you see I have this awful tan line on all of my arms is because I played outside on Saturday on clay, and it was It was a lot. Now, luckily, of course, we all had water and everything. We were all being safe. But playing outside like that, very hot, very hard to do. But, hey, we get to play tennis, so can't complain too much. Been doing well, doing some practice reps here and there and not matches. Ernest, that's okay. Practice makes perfect. You have, and it's really important to know what you need to be practicing before you even go into a match. Now, practice is not always a substitute, because in a match, everything kind of goes down to the bottom baseline of what you've done before. But hey, if you can make it work, you make it work. Matches is one of the things that I want to be playing more of, just because I feel like they are helping me become a better player, just because the other person is actually trying, rather than just having it to where we're both just out there hitting around and just doing this. Like, we're having fun, obviously, but we want to compete. There's no reason to not compete. So I was like, yeah, matches, very fun, very much needed. Probably need to play a lot more of them, especially if I want to get better or just get good. I will almost always have, going back to what you were talking about, I will almost always have a soft spot for the Ultra line, just because it was my first like official adult racket for me that my parents got me when I was a freshman in high school. So I was like, this is cool. And so that one's always kind of stuck with me. And I've always liked the line, even if I didn't play with it, just because it was the first one, and to me it's a little sentimental. Yeah, okay. Nah. Have you heard of a training aid called the Fast Track Tennis, and what's your opinion on it? Ernest, I have not heard about the Fast Track. That has not come across any of my knowledge or any of my feeds to hear about, so I can't really speak to that. I'm sorry. But what's kind of like the basic premise of it? And then Chills, I'll read your theory here in a second about the RF01. I got a theory why the RF01 90 is out of stock. It's because too much demand. They're trying to take it slower by putting the 90 as out of stock. And I hope people buy the 90. Well, maybe, but at least from what I've heard, some places got a very, very limited supply of them. Like, when we had them at the store that I work at, we sold out of all of the 4 3/8 grips and all of the 4 1/4 grips within like 2 hours of that thing officially going onto our website. Like, it was not a lot, and I was actually surprised that it took that little amount of time for people to be buying them, just because I thought it would have taken longer. I was a little bit more like, oh, it's a 90 square inch head size, very hard to use, but I knew the Roger fans would of course be like, no, that I see it, I want it, give it to me now, because it's just a really cool racket. And I was a little sad I didn't get one, but I got a pretty nice racket collection right now anyway. But oh well. It was cool to see. One of my friends did get one of them, and so I'll definitely be asking him to let me hit with it for a little bit, just to see what it's like. Maybe he'll let me borrow it enough to do a review. Maybe. We'll see. I'm not sure. Haven't asked him. But hey, man, if you're watching, you know who you are. Can I? After I give you back the one racket that I already have of yours. I'm not saying I want it now, man, but maybe a little bit later. Maybe. We'll see. I see. Yeah. Overall, with the 90 chills, it was a very, very limited run of rackets. Like, not, I don't know other places, but Wilson did not make a lot of them, and I believe it was very intentional that they did not do that. I did not like that. This needs to go back over there. I do not need my stringing machine falling down or falling off this thing. That would absolutely be horrible. I got hit by the knob. See if the paint lasts. The funny part of breathing on it, it rubs up. See, I hope the paint lasts, especially for paying as much as you did to get it. I hope it lasts. Though some of those Wilson rackets that if you did the special to where you got to customize your own, the paint on those, that would chip off, like you said, almost as soon as you breathed on it. And I was like, really? Come on, this is not cool. That wasn't good. All right, cool. Mains are done. Cool. The trash can go over there.
Ernest, have I tried any grapple snake strings? Okay, if I recognize the same as the Encode 90.
That's Ernest, I have not gotten to try grapple snake yet. No, I've seen it, and I think a few people. I think maybe one person I know has played with it, but I have never gotten to actually play with grapple snake myself. It seems interesting, but I just haven't yet. But hey, if someone knows grapple snake, or if grapple snake, if you're watching and you want to send me a pack to play and review, I'm open for it. Just let me know. We'll talk. All right. Crosses. What gauge even is this? I forgot. 17? Yeah, it's 17 gauge. Okay, so this is the thin one. The K factor 90 is the same as the Encode 90, right? I want to say yes. I believe they are the same. There might be... Actually, hold on. No. Because the K factor, I think that one is when they introduced the PWS system into the racket. So if you look at the head of the actual racket itself, on the sides at 3 and 9, it has this little bump that comes out a little bit more. I think that's when Wilson put it in, and I believe that's what makes it different from the Encode model. But besides that, I believe that they are very similar. I may be completely wrong in that because I've only seen the Encode 90 since they re-released it. But that is my guess / assumption. So I wouldn't fully quote me on it, but that would be my best guess.
Or do you think the material is a bit different when creating the frame? Is Encode 90 just pure graphite?
I don't think it's just pure graphite. I think there might be a little bit of something else in there, but I'd say probably I would say majority of it is probably graphite. Like I said, I didn't get to play with it or test it. I was sad I didn't get to. We just had it. But it would have been really cool to do. Now, I would have liked one. I also don't know if I would have wanted to spend as much money as was needed to get one. But, oh well. I'll probably play with it at some point. Just to see.
Material will be different, created from.
I think when they created the frame, they used everything that they had before. Like, when they originally made it, they used all the same material, and they just reconstructed everything. They just, I think, brought it back out. That would be my biggest guess as to what is going on with that. Not too much else would be my guess. All right. So, now I do have to ask: is anyone else excited for the new? Well, they're not technically new rackets, but the new releases of the Percept and the Pure Strikes that are coming later this year. I personally cannot wait for the new color of the Percepts. They look so nice, but that one's probably my favorite. The Pure Strike is a little bit more interesting. That racket's really just kind of fallen off from like the grace that it had like back in 2018, 2019, and 2020. Like, the Pure Strike was really popular, especially for people wanting to try it or just to have a control racket that was a little bit more powerful because it was a paddle-at racket. But now, I really don't see people like gravitating towards it, or I haven't really recommended it to too many people just because it seems to not be what most people are looking for now, or it still satisfies all the required things and all the right like boxes that people want to check with a control racket, but they just think that there's better options. It's just weird. Something I noticed, and I was like, when I was talking with other people I work at the store with, they're all like, huh, you're right. And I was like, I know, it's weird. Now, of course, I bet a lot of that has to do with Dominic Thiem retiring, and he was kind of like their big name, big spokesperson for the Pure Strike. And then there were a few others that use it, but no one that really had a extremely big name, like with Yannick Sinner and the Head Speed, or Carlos Alcaraz and the Pure Aero 98, or Rafa with the Pure Aero, Roger with the Pro Staff, Novak with the Speed, or Andy Murray with the Radical. But it's just weird to see and be like, huh, the evolution of tennis rackets and tennis preferences. Weird. Cool. I have to say, I'm not too sure how this Hyper Mach is going to play, but it looks really cool when you actually put them together. I will say that. I think this will be one of the few times I've ever tested or played with a polyester hybrid, in terms of like when it is mainly fresh. So I am excited to play with this. I think it'll be fun. I am also just not knowing how it's going to go, but we'll see. hopefully it all works out. Cool. Dominic has one of the best one-handed backhand in the game. He did have a pretty good one, Ernest. I will not argue with you. It was pretty good. I don't know if it was up to the level of like Stan. I think a lot of people feel that Stan the man had the best one-handed backhand out of all of them. Roger was very high up on that list as well because he's Roger. But Dominic had a pretty good go at it too. And then Chills. Am I replacing Polly each month, right? Chills, that just depends on how much I've played with the string. It's not like it's been a month since I put it in, it's time for me to change it now. It is just fully dependent on whether or not I feel that the string is not performing the way I want it to. Because I'm lucky enough to have played for a while and can tell when I need to put new string in my racket and if it's not doing what I want it to. So I won't say I do it every month, but for the amount that I play, I'm usually getting around 10 to 12 hours in with a string before I can say, okay, I've played with this enough to be like, yes, I understand how it's going to play, and then I can make the decision whether or not to see, based off the tension loss, whether or not it would be worth restringing right now, or if I think I should still play with it for a little bit longer and see if I can get any more life out of it. But if you're noticing a pattern where I'm doing it at least once a month, then you've noticed that before I have. I just kind of do it based off of feel, at least for myself. Some people would replace it once a month. Some people replace it before every match they play, and that's up to you. Personal preference, man. Let's see. Not in the level of stand. I do every month restring on my racket, even if it does break. Okay, nice, just. Ernest, what do you mean not in the level of Stan though? Are you saying that Stan's was better than Dominic's? Is that what I am assuming here? Because I think most people would agree with you, like I said, that Stan's backhand is the one-handed backhand. And then Dominic had a good one-handed backhand. He had a very good run with it. I was glad that he got one slam before he officially went out. But it was like it was cool to see him get that. So I remember watching that match. I was at work that day, and we all were just like, at the time, because it was 2020, we were all just watching, because everyone wanted to see who would be one of the first men to win a Grand Slam in a long time besides Roger, Rafa, and Novak. So almost everyone, whether it be the people I was working with or the people that came into the store to shop, they were glued to that TV. Like, your eyes did not leave the screen because you did not want to miss what was happening. Even though there was almost exactly no crowd at all for that match because of all the restrictions.
And what string is the most abrasive you have strung in racket? On dominant one hand, back at non-let.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought you were referencing, Ernest. I just wanted to make sure, or I was like, let me rephrase it. I wanted to clarify. I didn't know what exactly you were meaning, so I just wanted to make sure I got it right. Cute. But what string is the most abrasive I have strung in a racket? Abrasive, I would say one of them is Dunlop Black Widow. That string, very harsh on the stringer, just because of how sharp it is. So that one wasn't fun. Another one was Solenko Barbed Wire. That one also very tough on the hands, just because of how rough. I won't say rough. Just based off of how they made it, that one was a little bit rough to get through. Like any string that is, say, like twisted, if you think of like Vocal Cyclone Tour or a Wilson Revolve Twist or anything like that, those do tend to be harder to string, just because they don't like to move across the strings as easily, and they like to kink up, and you don't want that as much as possible, just because it can create a weak point in the string, and that's not fun. We don't want this happening to where all of the strings have a spot on them that's weak now, and as soon as a ball hits it there, it's just gonna break. That's not cool. But those are some of the abrasive ones. I don't know if I have a most abrasive or if I have a least favorite. Oh, another hard one that I just saw because I have more packs of it. Another harsh one to put in is Diadem Solstice Power. That thing, with how many sides it has, that one's a little bit harsh. But hey, if people want it, people want it.
Johan, what is that racket?
This is the Yonex Percept 100D, Johan. So this racket from the Percept line is the 100 square inch head size, as in the name, and then the D stands for dense, meaning a dense string pattern, which is in this racket an 18 by 19. Whereas in most other racket lines, the more dense string pattern is typically an 18 by 20. You don't usually see 18 by 19s that often. So I thought that was really cool about this racket. And it's also not as heavy. Oh, my string got caught. What did it get caught on? There we go. But it's also it's also a little bit heavier than, say, like the normal 90, what am I saying? The normal weighted rackets that are about 300 grams. I think this one is 305 unstrung. Let me make sure. Yeah, it's 305 grams unstrung, or 10.8 ounces unstrung. So it was a pretty interesting racket, and I play tested it for the first time last year. And I've been a fan of it since I play tested it. I always thought it was really cool. All right. This hurt last. Johan, how did you hurt your wrist? And what racket are you using? And C, to that question, what was the string you used with the tension? Because there's a lot of factors that can go into this, and if some of those other factors are also leading to that, we can't say officially that it was the string that may have caused it alone. it may have been a combination of the things. What about the one you reviewed, the YTech Square Jobs Hard String, and what is your playing experience? Oh yeah, that was another one. Yeah, Ernest. Quad Square X Sharp. That one was harsh. That one I almost cut myself on, but it was because I only strung with it once. That one kind of slipped my mind. So yeah, that one was a little bit. That one was a little bit rough too, just because of how harsh it was. I'd say it was probably. I would say it was probably sharper than Black Widow is, so it's probably on that list. But yeah, I've only had to do it once. I haven't had to do it again, so not gonna say anything about it besides just stringing it was a little bit hard. The actually playing with it was interesting. I think I went too low in the tension for myself because I had it at. Darn it. I had it at 50 pounds, which for me, I personally didn't like it at that. I had played YTEX's Quadro Twist at 55 pounds before. And what was that? What was in? I don't remember what racket I had in. I could probably go back to my review of that and find out, but no, it was in my Dunlop. Yeah, it was in my Dunlop SX300 Tour. But with the Square X Sharp, because I had it at too low of a tension, I couldn't get the same feel for it as I could with the Quadro Twist. So to compare it to anything, I don't know if I would necessarily do that right away without playing with it again. But it had a lot of spin to it, which was very nice. I just didn't really notice too much else. It was just a very spin-friendly string. I don't think it was that hard on my arm. I didn't have any issues with it, but I also luckily don't tend to have a lot of tennis elbow issues or wrist issues. So yeah, it was just kind of there. But YTech still makes great strings overall. I've gotten to play with that with the Square X Sharp, the Quadro Twist. I've never had a problem with any of them. Let's see, and then Johan. It's an old Racquet Wilson Triad using Solinco Hyper G with 50 tension. Okay. Triad using Hyper G with 50. Best string for power, but still arm friendly. Well, Johan, with that, I would say if you're wanting it to be as powerful and as arm friendly as you can get, you probably are looking at either a multi-filament string, or if you want to spend the money on it, natural gut. Those will be the most arm friendly. Now, if it is a Triad, you do already have a very arm friendly racket in general. Now, without seeing it, of course, I don't know which one you have or what you're doing. Well, let me rephrase it, or like what's going on with it. But it is not necessarily a bad problem. It is a very arm-friendly racket, so you can sometimes get away with having a little bit of a harder string in there. However, since Hyper G at 50 pounds also caused the wrist issue, I would say we probably try something that's not a polyester. So we go to a multi-filament string just to see how that does, and you either keep the same tension at 50 pounds for it, or you go to 52 or 53, because the multi-filament string is not going to have nearly as much control as the Hyper G did. So if that is something you are wanting, then I would probably go up to 52 or 53, but not so far away from it that you can't really feel that you feel too much of a difference, because we don't want to overcorrect here or there. So multi-filaments to look for, I would say if you've never tried one before, one to look into would be one called Wilson Sensation. That one has always been a good multi-filament option for me, or when I'm helping recommend it to someone. So I would say that, or if you want, there is Head Velocity. That one also has been a favorite of mine over the years. Velocity will be a little bit more powerful just because it has a little bit of a different construction to it, to where it is going to be it is going to be slightly stiffer, but it is also going to offer a little bit more power. So Velocity would do you fine. Man, that is a lot of leftover, and I'm still not done with it. Anyway, but yeah, probably either Wilson Sensation or Head Velocity to start with. That, and if you like multi-filament from there, then you just have to ask yourself, okay, which multi-filament do I want to try next, or do I just want to stick with what worked and go from there?
You are welcome.
And as you try it and you see what's going on, let me know. I'll probably be doing another one of these stringing Sundays. I don't know if it'll be on Sunday much anymore. They might be still. I'm not sure. Here soon, my work schedule is going to switch over starting tomorrow. Switch over my times starting tomorrow, so I'll have more free time during the week. Not as much on the weekends, but we'll see what comes through. But Johan, stay close, keep in touch, and as you try out what's going on, let me know what you're feeling, and we can go from there. See how we're doing. All right, cool. That's done.
Let's see. Chills. There was a time I wanted to get my RF repainted as a K factor. It cost $300.
Still thinking about, dude. To me, I mean, you could, but at that point, it's just a question of whether or not you want to spend the $300. Because I personally wouldn't. I don't think I would spend that just to have it repainted, but that's just me. But if you want to do it, man, because you just love that paint and you love that color, go for it. I'm not going to be the one to stop you. It's your money. But let's see what else. Get off the machine. Thank you. Cool.
Let's see. Only reason I have the theory about the RFO 190 is because no one posts a video of it yet except overseas Asia.
Well, it's probably just because. Well, I don't think anyone that could have posted a video about it, like the big ones such as Tennis Nerd or Tencom or any of those guys, I don't think even they were sent one. I think it was just sent to retailers that Wilson had approved rather than anything else. So, I mean, hey, if they already have the video in the works and that's what they were going for, to where not as many people were going to be talking about it, that may have been what they were doing, but I'm not entirely sure. I just know that where I was, we only got the ones. We didn't really get like samples or anything for it so that we could try them out. We just got the rackets themselves and be like, hey, this is coming out. Let people know. And we're like, okay. So we did. And then that was it. We couldn't actually play with it. And then, or next month be the month everyone that receives it will start posting the 90. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if people will start receiving one. I think it might have just been retailers. I may be wrong, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't know anything else besides that. Ernest, yes, Y-Tex, they make good strings. I've tried the Quadro Twist, in which I like. I would like to try the Square X Sharp, but is a thinner gauge. Is it a thinner gauge at 1.15? I think it was. I think when I got mine, it was 1.15, or at least what they consider their 18 gauge. So I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head which exactly it was, but yeah, I think it's an 18 gauge. I know it's definitely thinner than Quadro Twist, but yeah, it's fun. It'd be an interesting play if you figure out the tension for it. But Y-Tex does make nice strings, and yeah, I got nothing but like and love for those guys down there. They make nice strings, and I've got to talk with Ivor, who's the president, for a little bit. Seems like a really nice guy. So I got nothing bad to say about him. All right. So this is done. So do I string another racket, or do we go home? What do we think? What do we think? Do I do another one and we keep going, or something else? Oh yeah, RF01 Pro, those new frames. Oh yeah, the new RF01 Pros. Do you hit more on those frames? What? Chills, what do you mean? What do you mean, do I hit more? Oh, are you asking if I shank the ball more on the RF frame? Probably. I mean, if that's the question, then probably. 98 head size and 100, they don't seem like that big of a difference to a lot of people, but when you're actually used to one over the other, you're just like, oh, yeah, I have to adjust almost everything now because I don't have those extra 2 square inches. But yeah, that's kind of where I was at with them. You can still play with them. It's an easy adjustment to make for me, but overall, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think I shank too much with it. I still shank plenty with this or anything I play with, so it's about the same levels of shanks. Is my call okay? Well, while we think about that, let me ask this. Should I continue doing the stringing on Sundays if I get the chance? Or would we be okay with me moving it to a day during the week, still towards the end of the day, so that way everyone is home from work, and we can do what we need to? Because Sundays work fine. I would get home around like right when this started, so maybe a little bit later. I may start at 7 or something. Whereas during the weekdays, whether it be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, it'll either be like during the day, or we can start right around the same time that we did this, which was right around 6 o'clock, or a little after. But what are we thinking? Keep stringing Sundays, or move to a different day? Because I can be flexible. I can make this work either way we want it to. But I want to know what you guys want. I think the RF01 Pro is too light. Chills. What do you mean it's too light? I mean, it's 11.9 ounces strung. It's, what even is that? It's not 310. It's like 315 or 320 grams unstrung, and like 11.3 unstrung. Too light. What are you used to that it's too light, dude? What? What are you playing with then? If it's, or do you usually add lead tape all over your racket to make it heavier, and that's why you say it's too light? Is that it? I have my notifications on, so whenever. Okay. Cool. Cool. Chills is good whenever. Ernest, it's up to me. All right. Well then, gentlemen. Yeah. I will see what works out best. Maybe this week I'll try it with one of my other rackets that I don't know. Maybe I'll need strung, and I will see about it then. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, and we'll see what. I need to stop hitting this thing on stuff. I don't want to break this. I don't need to buy a new one right now. My car, especially because I don't know if my car is going to work. Because my car last week decided to just break down on me. And I was like, well, this isn't fun. So, definitely don't need to break my racket. You play with heavier rackets? Yeah. Heavier rackets are fun, especially when you can handle them. But after a time where they get too heavy, it's just like, nah, man. It's too heavy, and I don't want to risk getting hurt, especially for people who don't know what a heavy racket's supposed to feel like or is supposed to do. They're just going to tire themselves out too quick, and it's like, that's not fun. You don't want to get too tired by your racket, and then you're not playing good, or you injure yourself because you're not playing how you want to. Never good, never a great time. But okay. Yeah. I think I will call it there. Chills, Ernest, I appreciate you two being here as much as you guys are. I'm so glad that we get to talk just about everything and see what's going on. As you become better, you will play with heavier rackets against better players. That is very true, Chills. Especially because the people that are hitting at you are hitting a harder ball, so you want the racket to be a lot more stable for you. And very true. You want to go heavier. You just don't want to go so heavy to where you don't feel comfortable actually moving the racket, and the racket's too much for you to play with. You can get stronger. You can get in the gym, get buff, but there's a little bit of a balance point to where it's like you maybe not need to go that much. But it's all dependent on your play style and what you prefer. You don't have to. It's just what the general trend is, like you pointed out. Ernest, so when's the newer version of the Strike is coming out? So later this year, there will be the new Strike. It is not a new version of the Strike. It is just a new paint color. And I don't know exactly what the paint color is. They kept that a secret from me. But it is going to come out a little bit later this year. So my guess is that it would be around like August or September. That's my guess. I don't know officially, but those are coming down. Those are coming down soon, and yeah. So Strike is this year. Pure Arrow is next year. So a new Pure Arrow will be launching next year. Just because I think Babolat has fixed their yearly releases to where it goes like 1 year it's the Pure Drive, 1 year it's the Pure Arrow, 1 year it's the Pure Strike. So I believe next year is the year of the Arrow, and that will be coming out soon. Not soon. We still have the entire rest of this year to get through, and however long it takes them to actually release the new Pure Arrow. So that one will be coming out soon. I don't know why I said soon again. That one will be coming out here in the future. But yeah. Besides that, I think that's it. I think that's everything. Cool. So if there are no more questions before I hit this end recording button, then I will hit this end recording button and we will all go about our days seeing what's going on. So final call, questions, comments, concerns, anything. This is great talk. Chills, appreciate it. Always fun, always glad to talk it. Anything else? Wait for it. All right, cool. Well then, it's been a pleasure stringing with all of you. If there are any questions or comments, as you know where to find me, comment them away. I will try and get back to them as soon as I can, as long as I see them. And yeah, as always, take care.